Okay, everybody, and welcome to episode 10 of the Hunger for the Hustle podcast. I'm joined here today live with my first guest from Texas, and he's just let me know that this is the first time he's ever been interviewed, by anyone in Australia. I'm joined by Malcolm Free, who's a neuro leadership and health coach. His company is N2U Neuro Leadership and Health Coaching. Malcolm, how are you today?
What's going on, boss? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling
That's
relaxed.
good.
I'm feeling ready to talk to you and learn about neuro coaching because it's a subject I found very interesting because I've not heard much about it before. So tell me, where did it come from? Where did you get started in it, and how did you get started in it?
Well, my process, man, I was in the United States Army for 22 years and I retired. And when I retired from the whole time I was in the military, there was nothing wrong with me, right? Everything was fine. Everything was dandy. But once I retired and, I actually had to go through civilian doctors and all of that, man, there's a list of things wrong with me all of a sudden. So I took it upon myself because they labeled me with PTSD, anxiety, manic depressant. They had, I had back surgery, I had knee surgery, I had foot surgery, I had a whole bunch of things going on. And what I did was I started a process of trying to help myself, right? I started to trying to figure out how can I help myself with this PTSD, with this anxiety, with depression. So I started, and that's how I ended up getting into I ended up meeting Shante Javon Taylor, who's a neuroscientist. And I actually met her at an event, man, that my wife was on because my wife's an entrepreneur also. And I was helping her set up and all that. And there was this lady sitting across the way there with this globe thing in a brain. So I didn't get it. So I ended up, going up and, trying to figure out what it was. She told me who she was. We introduced ourselves. We talked. And she started talking about neuroscience and certain things about neuroscience. And a lot of questions that I had prior to meeting her, she was answering like right there on the spot. And I just got intrigued by it. So I ended up buying her book, Gen X, and I started reading the book. And honestly, it's one of those books that it was confusing at first, but once you get it, you roll through the book. So I finished the book or whatever. I ended up reaching out to her to talk about the book, and she told me about a program that she had. And not knowing that it was a certification with it, right? I didn't know anything about a certification, but I just went into it to try to find out more about how to help myself. So after that, I went through it and found out it was an actual certification that came along with it. And the stuff that I learned in that class was like mind blowing, right? It's stuff that a lot of things that we go through in life, we figure like, something ain't right about that. I grew up in that era, I'm a Gen Xer. So I grew up in that era where, you did what you was told and that was it. And even if it made no sense. But when you get into the neuroscience behind what's going on, a lot of different things, it makes it clear. It clears it up. It helps you understand, have a deeper understanding of what's going on. So actually, I got into it, neuro coaching, to help myself. But as time went on, I got into health coaching and to figure out how to help myself with the rest of me. So I got into that and I went through that process with health coaching. As soon as I got in, man, the first class was like, that makes sense to me. That makes perfect sense to me. So, I've been told this all my life, but what this is saying is making perfect sense to me. So as I stayed with the course, it's actually a year-long course, but I completed it in 7 months because it was just, that intriguing to me. And from there, it was like, there's a lot of people out there that don't know these things. There's a lot of people out there that need to know, as far as the holistic side of things. There's a lot of, because, we didn't grow up with the holistic, right? We grew up with, medicine. We grew up with doctor and et cetera, et cetera. But, once you get into the whole holistic health and, and how it helps and how the body works and all that kind of stuff, man. It's a different world. So I just had to let the world know. So I had to let the world know.
I like it. What a story. And I just want to say to start with, thank you for your service. I'm not an American, but I have relatives who are in the forces and have been in the forces. And I appreciate your service because it's work that people like you guys do so we can all live freely. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Sorry.
Now go ahead.
It's interesting that, and I think that's how it began for you there. I think it's a topic that can happen for a lot of men and women that are in service. When you're in there, you're told nothing's wrong. You've got a schedule. You're always constantly focusing on what the next job is, the next task is. It's possible that you're not given much time to think about yourself and really how you're feeling. And it's just, bam, 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 this, that, the other.
Yeah.
And then you come out and then it all becomes apparent that everything's maybe not quite right there and that there's some work to do on yourself.
That you're broken.
Yeah.
But the thing that got me though is once I went through the neuro coaching, once I went through health coaching, I you got two sides of the family, and I had one aunt, which was like my mother, man, and she passed away with heart complications, and what I'm saying, and then my second aunt, favorite aunt, she passed away with diabetes. And soon after that, I lost one of my best friends. I lost him to heart failure. Wow. And then soon after that, I lost the kid. There was a guy named, I grew up with him since we was like 5 years old. And we grew up all throughout the years together. And I lost him to cancer. So that put a spark in my tailbone. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I got to get I have to do my part. Right. I have to get out here and I got to inform people. I got to give these people the information. Now, whether they act on it, react on it, or respond to it is a different thing. But, how can I have this knowledge and information and not give it to the world and not do my best to help others? And then another thing was, it wasn't just that, it was as I read about different things in different countries. And then, and how they was dealing with the things they was dealing with. And I just made it a journey of mine to go. I got to be international because I got to be able to touch the people in Canada, touch the people in Australia, touch the people in Africa, Europe. Right. I want to be a part of that. I want that to be a part of my legacy when I leave here.
And I'm sure it certainly will. And using the beauty of the power of the internet, which is exactly how we're talking now, makes it a little bit easier than, as you said, you Generation X. Imagine trying to do that 25, 30 years ago. It would have certainly involved a lot more cash up front to be able to even have to travel to all these places to have your impact. So It's interesting. The internet makes it a lot easier to get out there and to spread your message to everyone in the world and have that impact.
Yeah, and we sit back and every time I do like a podcast or I do a show or I do a speaking engagement, people always talk about, well, Coach Free, saying he's a neuro coach, he's a health coach, he's been trained by Les Brown, he's been trained by Mary Morris, and they go through this whole list of things that I've gone through. And I always come back and say, like, all of that is a hunger. It's a hunger. It's a thirst for knowledge. And, and when you're hungry for the knowledge and you're hungry to help and you're hungry to serve, right? The hustle is never easy, but it becomes purposeful. You understand what I'm saying? It becomes necessary. The hustle becomes necessary because if I feel like this, if I slack on what I'm doing, that's one other person, that's two other people, that's 200 people that I may have been able to save or help that just because of my laziness, right? I didn't get to them. So, so the hustle is real, man. You gotta be on your grind at all times. Like right now, here's 1 o'clock in the morning, right? I'm here, I'm on my grind. I usually wake up at 4. So this is like my deep sleep time right here. But
technically you should be deep asleep by now. And thank you for giving me that time at this time. But like you've pertained to there, the hustle doesn't sleep, the grind doesn't sleep.
No.
And, by procrastinating, and procrastination, as we know, leads to disintegration. And it's really cool that you've got that in mind, that if I don't do this work and put this work in, and if I get lazy and rest on my laurels, then how many people am I starving of the knowledge that I have to share, which can help others because it's helped you, through them testing difficult times. Sounds like you went through a real transformation there, brother. And I'm sure it wasn't easy, but thank goodness you did. Otherwise, you wouldn't have ingrained this knowledge in you and then been able to pass it on to help others.
Right. The thing about it is understanding that it's not going to be easy. Like, a lot of people come into their vision, they're coming to their dreams with this expectation that it's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, because throughout this process, you have to learn. And like I tell people all the time, a lot of people think energy travels in a straight line. Energy doesn't travel in a straight line, right? Energy travels up and down, up and down. That's how energy travels. Right? It might be short waves and real quick, or it might be big waves going up and down, but energy travels up and down. Life itself is energy. So energy is going to travel up and down. There's going to be ups in life, and there's going to be downs in life. But what you cannot do is get beside yourself or get down on yourself when you're in that down moment. When you're in that down moment in life, that's when you have to wake up. That's when you have to sit back and focus. That's when you got to get for real, because there's something there for you to learn. There's something there for you to do. There's something there for you to achieve in order to move forward, right? One of the things that I tell all my clients and customers is, what you focus on becomes your reality. What you focus on becomes your reality. And if you focus on your problems, then your problems will remain your reality. But if you focus on a solution to the problem, then the solutions will become your reality. So no matter what you're going through in life, and no matter what you're going through in life, you got to be able to realize, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on, I don't have enough? Are you focusing on, I'm not good enough? Are you focusing on, hey, I got to move to the next level. I got to keep it moving. Whatever you're focusing on, that becomes your reality. When I started this whole process, because here's the thing, I'm a neuro coach, I'm a health coach, I'm all that, whatever. You feel what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I left home to join the military at the age of 17. Right? I didn't get to college. I didn't get all the extra schooling. I didn't get all of that. So who was I to think that I could tell somebody about the brain? Who was I to think that I could tell somebody about their endocrine system? Who am I to tell somebody? And that was my attitude in the beginning. Like, who am I to tell somebody, and who's going to believe me? But then I got to a point that I had to understand that it's not about what I've accomplished, right? It's about, what am I willing to get out and do? See, life is about action. It's about taking action. It's about, whether and I saw the one you did, I think, I always say her name wrong, Imani.
Yeah.
Imani. I saw the one you did with Imani. And Imani says that, she said at one point throughout your little interview, she said that you just got to get started, right? You ain't got to be perfect, man. You just got to get started. And that's what I did. I just got started. And when I got started, when I got over myself, right? And when they tell you, you got to get over yourself, you got to get, you can hold yourself back, right? And it's true that you hold yourself back because of your fears, your phobias, your paradigms in life. You hold yourself back with that, but you got to get over that in order to achieve. You got to get over that in order to do that. And the only way to get over it is through action. Now, what happens is, in the brain, right? If you're accepting the fear and you're not moving forward because of the fear, right? Your brain, here's the thing about your brain. Your brain will never do anything to prove you wrong. Your brain will never find anything or do anything to prove you wrong. Whatever you believe, your brain is going to find the information to make it so. Whether it's real, whether it's reality or not, it's your reality, right? So if you sit back and you constantly say that I'm not good enough, your brain is going to find the information to prove you right. If you sit back and say that, you know what I'm saying, I'm scared, you know what I'm saying, nobody wants to, for the people that I deal with, nobody wants to buy my products or services. Nobody's going to get on my podcast. Nobody's going to watch my videos, or whatever the case is. Your brain is going to find the information to make that so. But it's not so, because even if on Facebook, you know what I'm saying, I don't mean to run with it, but even on Facebook, people see your videos. They just not clicking. They're just not liking it, or they're just not loving it. They're not saying anything, but they're watching it. So when you think nobody's watching that video, somebody's watching it. Because the thing about me is what got me is I did a bunch of videos, right? Talking videos. And on those videos, here it is. A lady came in. She hit me up on Facebook and said, hey, coach, you know what I'm saying? I watched your video and your video changed my life.
Wow.
So I came back and I asked her, I said, well, which video? I wanted to know exactly what video she watched.
Yeah.
She brought up a video that I had done 2 years ago.
Really? Wow. That's interesting, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when she brought that up, then it was like, oh, because at that time I was going through things in my life. I was, going through some things in life. And, I was thinking about just giving it up, quitting, whatever. But at that time, hey, once she said that sparked a fire. And once you start moving, things will move for you. The universe will move things in your way. You just got to pay attention to it.
Yeah, absolutely right. You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great, as Les Brown says.
Yeah.
And once you decide, you like that one, yeah?
Yeah.
Once you make a decision, the power of decision, once you make a decision, then everything comes together around you to tell you, you get the thumbs up, left, right, and center to tell you that, yes, it was the right thing to do. The universe affirms to you that it was, the correct thing to do. I truly, truly believe that and align with what you say.
Yeah.
Now, you've answered a few of the questions there that I already asked, and I might be wrong here, but I was going to ask you what your biggest win was so far for your business. The moment that really made you realize that, yes, this is what I should be doing. Yes, this is my calling, and yes, I can help other people.
It was one young lady that made me realize that I have to keep doing. It was one young lady that came to me, and she was overweight, and she was overweight, and she had high blood pressure, and she had a couple more ailments. And I worked with her for, I think it was right around 6 months. We worked together, whatever, and she lost the weight, and she had diabetes, and her A1C came down, and she just felt great about herself. And just to see, and my thing for me and what I do is watching their expressions, like, the clients or the customer, when they lose the weight, when they realize they're doing the right things and they're eating correctly and they're changing their lives. And that's what drives me. That's what makes me get up to go find the next client, or find the next customer, man, is their results. Like, I'm results driven. I love results. I love to see their results. I love to hear their results. And I'll hear their results before I see their results, because you can hear it in their voice. Their conversation changes, especially when we get into the whole mindset and shaping that mindset and doing what we got to do on that level. And here's the thing I'm going to throw out there real quick. The first thing people got to understand is that the mind and brain are two different things. A lot of people still think that the mind and brain are the same. The mind and brain are not the same. The mind is the mind and the brain is the brain. Now, when people talk about mindset, they always go to what Carol Dweck says in her book about, fixed mindset and open mindset, right?
Yeah.
So, but there's another story before you even get to that when it comes to the brain, when it comes to the mind. And it's understanding, because how can you get someone to change their mind if they don't know what the mind is, or they don't have an understanding of what the mind is? So you got to get to these people. And as a coach or as a health coach or a life coach or a business coach, right? Understanding how to explain that to people makes the biggest difference. Because once they get it, then they start really doing the things necessary to develop the mindset to be successful.
Yeah, I agree with that, and it's very interesting what you say. People think the mind and the brain are the same thing. If you said to someone, a coach of mine, John Tallarico, was covering this subject just yesterday. You say to someone, imagine a picture in your mind of your car. You can do that. It's easy, right? You know exactly what it looks like, the doors, the wheels, the color, the trim, you know what it looks like. And then you say to someone, okay, imagine a picture or draw me a picture even of your mind. Most people are going to draw you a brain, right? Because that's what they think the mind is. That's what they think the mind looks like. But
Yeah.
I'm only just learning about this. So it sounds like you know a lot more than me. But the mind is in every part of every cell of the body, isn't it? From what I understand, it's everywhere. It's not just a little compartment of your brain that's behind a door that you unlock or close every now and again. It's way more than that. It's a big part of you. And learning that, and then learning how to train the mind. And like you say, thoughts become things. They absolutely do. What you focus on over time is what becomes in your reality, And if you're focusing on what you haven't got and what you don't have and what you can't get to and what isn't working for you, then it just brings more of those things around to you. But one way I like to start the day, and I don't know if you might do the same, is I always start the day with a gratitude list. I write down 10 things that I'm grateful for in the morning. And I find that by focusing on those things that you're grateful for, it starts your day off with some good energy. You just feel good about the things you got that you're grateful for. And two, it attracts more of those things into your life instead of all the things that you don't want and you don't like and you aren't happy about.
Right. For me, I have this thing I call tuitions, and is gratitude. First thing before I even get out the bed, I do maybe 5 things that I'm grateful for, just before I even get out the bed. Now, the second thing that I do basically is I check my body out, right? I pay attention to my body, right? But do I have any certain types of aches, any pains, anything that's going on? And if I'm not really feeling anything, then that's cool. And then I check my attitude. I check my attitude before I even get out the bed, because sometimes you can wake up with an attitude, or sometimes you can wake up angry. You can wake up sad or depressed. And when you identify that before you even get out the bed, now you have to go through a process of saying, okay, what am I depressed about? My day ain't even started yet. What am I depressed? Am I depressed about something that happened yesterday? Right. Well, that was 12 hours ago, 15 hours ago. Right. So you start off and you do a self-check. Now, once I get out of the bed or whatever the case is, my process is gratitude again, gratitude. Right. And then after gratitude, I go into my visualizations, I go into affirmations, and I also go into meditation and then prayer. But, but it's just having a system. Now, here's the thing, Les Brown says there is no secrets to success. There's only systems to success. And you have to create a successful system within yourself. It's not a system that Tony Robbins can come teach you. There's not a system that Les Brown can really come teach you. There's not a system. You have to create a system of success within yourself. Because if you don't feel successful about you, if you don't feel successful within, then you'll never find success without. Because it takes the energy from within in order to create from without. So, and like I tell people a lot of time, what we do, we have what we call projections. You have to project yourself out into what you really desire. What do you truly desire in life? Project yourself out there. That's why you have an imagination so you can foresee. There's other things going on in the brain so you can foresee where you want to be, right? You can foresee where you want to be. How do you want your life to be? What kind of car you want to have? What kind of house you want to have? How are you planning on doing it? And once you go through that process and you can visualize it and you can see it, here's what you have to do. You have to connect to it to draw the energy to get you there. As you don't have the energy right now within you to get to that point. You have to pull from that energy, right? You have to pull from the energy of your visualization. You have to pull from the energy of your projection to pull you forward. Because if you go by the energy you have right now, it's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough energy to shake off the haters. It's not enough energy to, you know what I'm saying, the naysayers. It's not enough energy to go through the things that you have to go through in order to get there. So you have to connect to that energy and let that energy guide you. Everybody's looking for a golden path to success. And what people got to understand is the golden path is created by you.
Yes.
You create the golden path. I can't create a golden path for Jake. I can't do that. I can create a golden path for me by knowing exactly what I want in life and understanding what it takes to get there. Me knowing what I want in life and creating backwards planning to where I am, right? That's my golden path. Now, all I got to do is walk the path, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm gonna leave it alone.
That's good, man. Speak, brother, speak. The words are great. I'm really enjoying them. I'm actually learning a lot from this call. I really genuinely mean that. I'm learning a lot here.
Yeah.
If you had to imagine for a second with me that and I know your imagination is powerful. I can see you use it a lot there. You can tap into it. Imagine you had to start again tomorrow. You had to start again with your business tomorrow. Is there anything you would do differently? Any tips or anything that you would change?
The only thing I would change, man, is stop hesitating, stop procrastinating, go, just go. You know what I'm saying? Because when I first started, it was, you know what I'm saying, because of the military, right? You know what I'm saying? My military has got to be perfect. A got to come before B and B got to come before C. But actually, it don't have to, right? It could be, you know what I'm saying? It could be DAB. It don't matter, right? Get going. You feel what I'm saying? Just get going. Just get started. You know, and even if just getting started is the conversation, having a conversation with yourself. Having a conversation with yourself is one of the most powerful things that you can do, simply off of vibration, right? If you have the conversation with yourself that I am, and those two words are powerful words. I am a speaker. I am a trainer. I am a podcast host. I am, and you just say those words over and over and over. Right? You're going to create some energy within yourself that you've never felt. And then the universe within itself will start bringing to you the things that you need in order to get there. Now, here's the thing. You got to be kind of specific about the things that you want. You have to be specific about what you want. Because how many times have we, okay, this is what I want. This is what I want. And then we get it. We're like, okay, this ain't exactly what I wanted. I didn't exactly want this. I wanted it like this. But you didn't say that, right? You didn't say that. You didn't visualize the little bitty things that make the biggest difference. See, everybody wants the brand new car, right? Everybody wants the big fancy car. Not everybody. I don't want the big fancy car, but a lot of people want the big fancy car.
Me neither.
But and they want the big fancy car. So when they get the big fancy car, it's not what they want. Oh, I wanted this, I wanted this, I wanted this and this. But you didn't say that. What you said was you wanted the big fancy car, right? Mm-hmm. You didn't say you wanted all the luxuries and all the this and that. You just said you wanted the big fancy car. So that's what you got. So you got to be specific about what you want. And this to be specific about it, is an own running story. Your life is an own running story. Right? There is no, here's the thing I tell people, man, it is what it is until it ends. You know what I mean? It is what it is until it ends.
Good word.
And man. You have to make a decision on what it is. if you don't like where you are in life right now, if you don't like where you are in life financially, you got to do something about it. You got to create an action that's gonna cause the universe to give you a different response. You know what I'm saying? You have to do something to make the universe. It ain't about, me trying to impress Jake Fowler. It ain't about me trying to impress nobody. It's about me putting action out there, massive action out there to get the response that I want for my life. And that's anybody. If you put massive action out there to get what you want, eventually you're going to get what you want. It's got to come your way. It has to.
It has to. And it works both ways as well. You got to be careful of stuff because it's powerful stuff, right? If you're thinking about the things you don't want too much, they're going to show up.
That's the last thing you need to do.
That's the last thing you need to do. You got to
the last thing you need to do is focus on what you don't want. What I don't want is, and since you said that, right? I know when I left the military, when I retired from the military, the only thing I kept saying is, I don't want no job. I don't want to work for somebody. That's all I knew. When I retired, I knew I didn't want to work for nobody.
Yep.
Right? As time went on, it got to a point where I had to go work for somebody. But I stayed steadfast in what I believed about myself. I believed that I didn't have to. I believed that I could find a way to do this without clocking somebody, punching somebody's time clock. And I stayed steadfast with that. And it was tough. It was tough, man. You know what I'm saying? When it first started, things got really bad between, my wife at that time, my wife and myself. Things got really bad for me financially. Things got really bad. And, when I tell people I've been doing this for a little while, and I tell them that for the last 2.5 years, I was struggling. I didn't have a car, right? I lost my truck, right? Which was, I loved my truck, but I lost my truck. I'm struggling. Financially, I was struggling, but I made a decision that I'm going to do what I have to do to get as close to financial freedom as I can. I made up a decision. So I purposely went 2.5 years without a car. I purposely paid off every bill that I could. I paid off everything that I could. I recently just got a car in February, right before Corona.
How about that? No, you can't go anywhere.
I got a car, can't go nowhere. But anyway, so and you have to challenge yourself. You have to challenge yourself. And a lot of people are getting into entrepreneurship now and doing things, but but you have to get rid of one life before you try to start another. Right. I tell the story how, I found myself paying for 3 lives, trying to have a new one. Right. Yeah. And it took me 2.5 years to pay off those other 3 lives so that I could live a little, so that I could breathe a little.
Yeah. Trust me, I've been there. And actually, it's interesting. I've got a goal right here on the wall. It's actually my goal by the end of this year is to pay off all my debts. And that's one of my first biggest steps to becoming financially free. Because you got to lock it down. You can't have them hanging over you. it doesn't matter how much money you got. If you've got debts, you're not really free. Anyone can come knocking at any time and say, hey, I need that money you owe me. And you're not secure.
The thing is for my people, the thing is old energy. It's old negative energy. And you can't move forward with that old negative energy, right? It's hard to move forward with that old negative energy, right? You feel like there's something on your back. You feel like, your chest, right? And honestly, when I got to a point that I was able to pay off majority of these bills, except for 2 bills, the car and one other bill, right? Because I just got the car, but it felt like, just a load off my back, right? The insomnia that I was suffering with, I was able to sleep good. You get to a point, you get tired of dodging phone calls and, every time you pick up the phone call is, hey, Mr. Free, you owe me, blah, blah. No, nah. Right. So now it's nobody calling my phone talking about I owe them nothing. And and you got to understand what that does to your brain, what that does to to your brain. Because once you realize that what you're doing, what happens is the brain releases dopamine every time you think about it. Every time you think about it, dopamine is the feel good chemical in the brain. So it releases dopamine. So you just feel good about yourself. When you get up in the morning, ain't nobody finna call you talking about you owe them no money. Right? It's just that feel good when when you do this self-check in the morning, when you do your self-check in the morning. And that's one of the things that you that you're looking at, like, nobody's gonna call me talking about I owe them no money. Right? So, and it's just the release of dopamine. And that's what people have to understand is when it comes to the brain, when it comes to whatever you're trying to achieve, you have to understand that it's mostly about chemicals. It's about chemicals that you have in your body. It's about, raising your serotonin levels when you're at a state of depression, right? Knowing how to raise that serotonin level so you can get out of depression. And a lot of men get mad when I say this. When your wife or your woman or your girlfriend or whatever says she's depressed and she wants to go shopping, let her go, right? let her go. Because
it's not what you're allowed.
Yeah, you don't understand. Yeah, you don't understand it, right? You don't understand it because you're not going through what she's going through. But if she tells you that, because a lot of them just want to they'll go window shopping and be happy. Now, if they got a few bucks, most of them are gonna go look for the sale. They're gonna try to get as much as they can for the little money that they got. So, and that releases that dopamine, which gets them out of depression. Now, when they come home, you might have a good day.
Turn it around for sure.
Yeah.
Tell me, Coach Free, what are your goals and aspirations going forward for what you want to do for your business?
International. That's
Love
it.
it.
International.
Exactly.
I'm saying, as far as my businesses, I just want them to go international. As far as my speaking, I want to be able to do like what I'm doing now in different countries and, have an impact internationally. Right. Everybody, a lot of people focus on, just their area or just the United States. No, I don't want that, because there's millions upon millions of people that need what I offer, or that need what we offer, or what other coaches offer, right? And people not understanding that, health coaches, health coaching is much like life coaching. It's just a different. Everybody thinks it's about doing push-ups and running and all that. That's a personal trainer. A health coach is more of a life coach. We just do things differently. We look at things differently. And we just have a different format of a way of doing things. So, but it's basically life coaching. And, and it's necessary, man. People need it. People need it in the world.
For sure. Let me know when you're ready to come to Australia. I'll do everything I can to help you.
Hey, man. Let's make some money first and let's see what's happening.
Well, that's the thing, right? Okay. And that's the other side of it. Of course, you do what you do to help and serve others. That's why you do it.
Yeah.
But of course, it's a business, a business earns money. Of course, that's how it goes. And if you learn how to create your business generating cash in different time zones, then you're making money in your sleep. And I tell you, there's no better feeling than that.
Yeah. My man Zig Ziglar said, money ain't everything, but it's right there next to breathing. So, you do a lot of things because you have a heart, because you have the passion to do it. But you got to understand that you can do more. If you're making money, you can do more. You can connect with more people. You can do more. And, a lot of people get into the business, as far as whatever business, they'll get into that business thinking that, I just want to help people. I just want to help people. And a lot of people say that and mean it, but a lot of people don't. Right. They're really, because as soon as the money don't show up, they quit. You know what I mean? As soon as the money, because if that's the case, then you would do it all for free. Like I do pro bono, but everything I do is not pro bono. I can't afford for it to be promo. This is my livelihood. This is how I make a living. So, but I do the best I can with what I have. So, but you're in business. So you have to have a transfer of income, right? Because money is what? Money is energy. And if you don't have energy coming in, then there's no energy to put out, really, right? You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing to motivate you to keep moving because you're not making anything. So you got to have that money, that energy of money coming in. You have to have a flow of money coming in. And you have to disperse that money out also. You can't sit back and harbor it and hold it, right? Once it starts coming in, you got to get it out there. But your job is to disperse this money evenly into different directions, right? As far as the giving, as far as the business, as far as yourself, is to get that money out there evenly.
I agree. It's not everything, but it is up there with oxygen. And once you have some of it, it's a catalyst, right? It just makes things happen. It can make things happen a lot more speed. As we come to a close, I'd like for you to get. I'll have you back, I promise.
No, that's all good.
I'd like to give you some hot tips for the audience. So anyone, two things. Number one, your hot tip for anyone that's thinking about starting their own business, and number two, a book recommendation for anyone. Just a book recommendation.
Okay. My tip for anybody that's thinking about getting started, whether it don't matter what the business is, you could be getting ready to start a business, lawn care business. It doesn't matter. Get started. You know what I mean? Hesitation and procrastination are never your friends. They're not your friends. They generate stagnation, and stagnation long enough is a flat line. And a flat line means you're dying or you're dead. So, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta just get started, man. It don't matter. Get started. Start writing, start writing it out, right? What's the name of your company? What's your color scheme? What's your, what's your, start writing out your business scheme. Start writing it out. Just start writing it out, right? Start seeing it for what it is. Whatever it is you're trying to do, right? Just get busy. Just start. And then once you've written everything out and you know the verbiage, you know what you're saying, you know what you represent, now go get it. Get on your hustle. Get on your hustle because, hey, if you don't, somebody else going to out hustle you.
Oh, yeah.
For real, for real.
Yeah, there's opportunity.
As far as a book recommendation, of course, you know what I'm saying? Like anything Les Brown wrote is going to be inspiring. Anything that man wrote is going to be inspiring. But if I had to go through, if you want to get more into, because everybody's got this thing about male, female, and all this kind of stuff. And the male brain and the female brain are different. They're not the same. The male brain and the female brain. Now, here's the thing. The female brain is more advanced than ours, right? It technically is more advanced than ours. In relationships and in business and all that kind of stuff, you got to understand that women have 8 times more emotional connections in the brain than a man does.
Wow.
So, and I'm just throwing this out there real quick. So in your relationship, you both have to understand that. So when she's on her emotional high at 70 or 80, you faded out at 9.5 because you only got 10. You feel what I'm saying?
I'm with you.
So she's got to calm down and you got to be understanding as the man. You know what I'm saying? You got to be understanding as a man that she's at help here. Now you got to calm her down. Like, baby, look, you tripping. Calm down. You know what I mean? Calm down. But anyways, a book, as far as a book recommendation, and like I said, anything by Les Brown. And I would say there's this spry young lady named Dr. Lindsay Berkson, and she wrote a book called Sexy Brain. I think that's a must read for people wanting to understand the differences between the male brain, female brain, and things in relationships. I think Sexy Brain is an awesome book. Gen X is another book.
Gen X, I heard a lot about that. I've not read that one.
Yeah, Gen X is a good book. But the book by Dr. Lindsay Berkson, man, that book changed the way I think about business and everything else.
Awesome. I'm going to put that in the comments. So anyone that's looking for a new book to read, find it. Coach Free, Malcolm, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, sir. I've really enjoyed it with you, and I've learned a lot from this call. I'm gonna be writing some notes and having a good think about this, and I may even reach out to you for some coaching. I think it sounds
Please do, man. Please do. I mean, that's what I'm here for. I won't rape your pockets. I don't do that, but
it's all good. You can find Malcolm on Instagram under Coach J Malcolm Free, and I've popped that in the comments so everyone can find him there. Malcolm, what are you going to do with the rest of the morning? You're going to go back to sleep, or you're going to get up and that's the day started?
Oh, I got about 2-3 good hours. I'm on it. I'm out of here.
Good for you. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll talk to you soon.
Hey, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. Hey, you keep doing what you're doing, man. You keep doing what you're doing. I'm gonna say this and I'm done. Right. I was watching, I watched your thing with the summit. And I was like, okay, Jake on fire right now, right? Because I was in the same class with you. Yeah. But what ended up happening is life took me totally off of it. As soon as I signed up, like 2 days later, it took me totally out of the pocket. So what I did was I came back because I was hungry for the hustle, right? I came back and I completed that course in 3 nights.
Wow.
I completed it in 3 nights. I watched every video. I did everything I had to do in 3 nights. Well, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, right? Because I said to myself, I'm going to complete this. I stayed up all night trying to do that. But the thing is, right, I missed the mark for the summit. So I didn't know what to do. So I reached out to John and he told me, look, just go to the next class or whatever. But like I got busy after that. So like I just finished one summit and then I finished another summit and now I'm here. So, it's like, hey, life is good. Life is great. But anyway, I appreciate you, man. And I appreciate your people watching. I hope y'all got some value out of what I said. And hey, blessings to everybody, man. Reach out to me. Connect with me. Facebook, wherever. Connect.
Yeah, it's in the comments, guys. So if you want to connect with Malcolm, I'm sure he'd be more than happy to speak to you. Take care, brother. Thank you for your time.
All right, boss, man.